Hello everyone. Today the topic which I have chosen is artificial intelligence. Now as I think mostly everyone is aware, so the basic purpose of today class is just to be familiar with few aspects of artificial intelligence as far as our legal profession is concerned. Now as we all know, this AI was introduced in the year 1950 and thereafter it has made remarkable progress in various spheres of life. As you all are aware, whether it's the Alexa or the smartphones, smart cars, health sector, navigation, travel, and also the legal profession. So, what is artificial intelligence? Just in simpler words, just to understand, what do you mean by that? It actually is the simulation of the human intelligence by machines, especially computer systems, and this specific application of AI, just just a minute. And this specific application of AI, it includes the expert systems, natural language. These are a couple of terms which I am just saying because you will find this being used in a lot of spheres. And it's very simple, only the terminology is a little difficult, but otherwise. So it includes expert systems, then there's a natural language processing, a speech recognition, and a machine vision. So these are the basic, just to define what is the introduction and what is the AI. Now how it works, basically AI system, it works where in the it's there is a large amount of data or label training data, what it is called, which is ingested there, that is analyzed, the data is analyzed for the specific correlations, there are patterns, and then these patterns are used to make predictions about the future state. Now one simple example which I will say is a chatbot. Most of you must have seen. Now how this chatbot works, actually it is fed up with examples of text chats, and there then it can learn how to produce, and then it automatically it starts exchanging just the way we interact with a question answer. So there the pattern and all it is fed in. So basically AI programming, if we know, it focuses on three skills, which is learning, reasoning, and self correction. Now what is the benefit of AI? So these are a couple of points. First is as far as the legal profession, in our profession, it includes, first of all, the document review for litigation and the due diligence, then the contract analysis. Now, as far as due diligence is concerned, especially in the corporate sector, in banks where there are loan documents, voluminous data is there. So AI plays a very crucial role because there, if you start perusing the data and all, it takes so many hours. So then in that sphere, AI helps a lot and it can do that thing in couple of seconds. So then contract analysis, creation, that is another benefit. The legal research, the efficiency, whatever research we are doing, the accuracy there, of course, because it does not match the human skills. Litigation, outcome prediction. Now, this is something which I will deal with later. And the efficiency gains and deeper legal knowledge. So, these are a couple of benefits. Now, how the Indian lawyers basically are using this AI. Now, of course, this is a new concept and there's a lot of scope here. It needs to be developed over a period. Though India has a very good startup system and has the highest skill penetration rate in the world, but the law firms basically in India still now, they are being a little hesitant because of various reasons for implementing this tech in the practice. But the growth of AI as of now, as per the report, is subdued and it constitutes only 4% of the lawyers who are making the use. Now the reason, of course, I will dwell with later. Now a couple of law firms who have been using as on date, they are Anand and Anand, Cam, Nishit Desai, they have been endorsing the use of AI for their various in the regular practice. So what are the benefits and how they are encashing on the AI technology? First of all, the efficiency and the effectiveness, which I have already dealt. Now here what happens that this AI powered software, it uses the machine learning by which it provides the lawyers with the relevant information from unstructured documents. As I said below, like in case of banks and all, or in other corporate sector, where there are huge documentation. So there it actually helps a lot and it helps the lawyers in identifying whether it's a category wise and how to segregate and examine, and whether it's provision wise, in whatever class of manner you want to identify and you want to compile. So from the legal documents, and that also with high accuracy. So this is a major plus point why it is being used. Now, what are the softwares which being used for this artificial intelligence? The first one is Kira. Now, what is this? Kira is actually a machine learning software. Now, I have tried to make a graph. There is a graphic thing which was there. So there I have just to make it more simple, what it does. It first of all identifies, it analyzes and extract the contents from the legal documents. And while extracting, then for the purpose of contract review, this is specifically in those cases, it identifies the risk point also, and then strategically it provides the recommendation also how the counsel should go about it. So if you see it, import documents, there is a process, analyzing, search review, and followed by the report, final report. So what happens, this software, the litigators, it helps a lot. They are able to read, analyze the contracts as well as the contractual clauses with more efficiency and effectiveness. So this is being used by the law firms, some of the law firms which I just said. Now the second one is a coin. Now this is actually devised by JP Morgan. So this is a short form, the term is there, it's contract intelligence platform, yeah. So this has specifically been devised by JP Morgan, which uses these unsupervised machine learning, and of course it involves minimal human involvement post deployment. Again, the purpose is basically in case of commercial loan contracts which involves voluminous documents. So in those cases, they have a particular pattern by which they segregate the documents based on either it's the wording or the location in the contracts. There are certain catch words on the basis of which they segregate, and then they implement it. And the basic advantage of all these software is again efficiency, as I just said, and also the accuracy, because in such cases where there is humongous documents, it's very difficult to classify, besides saving time and productivity. So the essential technique, now the unique feature about this software is the image recognition. So what happens by this feature, the software can compare and distinguish also different agreements. So this is one of the unique feature of Coin. And besides, it's also cost effective, it's more efficient, and it's less prone to others. So it's being used by the lawyers in a very effective manner. And as I said, it reduces in a couple of seconds compared to the normal, which is 360,000 person hours, which is being used for the manual review. This much is the time required. So this software actually becomes very handy in such cases. The third software is Spot Draft. Now this again is more or less similar. It has some additional features. Like it extracts, in this what happens, it's a management platform where it extracts key information from the contract, and then you don't have to read the entire document. And whatever, like in employment agreement, I have given one example. So there it extracts compensation, joining date. So whatever you want, you can feed that information, it takes up that, and based on that it gives you the output or the results. It also detects the definitions and the others in the document. And of course, the unique feature about this thing is there is a smart template here, which also allows the business team to create new contracts, which is already pre-approved. So in this case, what happens, suppose you already have a draft with you, which is already approved by a legal team, and you want based on the basis of that to create another agreement. So that you can do it in a effortless manner. And it actually picks up from the keywords and it does that. So this is another helpful software which is widely being used. Now the second benefit is the legal research. As we all know, being lawyers, we spend a lot of time in the researching and finding documents, and still at times we are not able to do that. So this AI becomes very handy. Now traditional legal research portals, we all know, we have Manupatra, we have Indian Qanun and all. So there are new legal research portals like CaseMind, Pensive, Spot Draft. Now they use natural language processing, what I was just saying earlier. Now this is the technique which is they are using to conduct efficient legal research. Now I will just take you to the specific these softwares. The first one, CaseMine. Now this CaseMine, I was surprised to see this is an NCR based startup company in Noida, and I think I came across also some emails where they have been promoting it. So it provides the clients with AI driven legal research. So the legal research assistant of CaseMine is called Case IQ. Now, what it does is after once the legal document in this you have to upload first. After it is uploaded, it actually analyzes the language of the document for the case laws, the statutes, and the legal argument pattern, and based on that, it automatically it gives you the results. Now, the unique feature about this case IQ is that it has the ability to understand the context which is involved in the uploaded document, which everybody can't have, because in most of the cases, like when we are doing research, we are putting the keywords or the proposition. So in this case, it is not required. It automatically it picks up the context involved, what is the case about, what is the law which is held, and based on that, it gives you your result. So whatever keyword or whatever the finding is there in the judgment. So it also what it does, the another feature is like if there is already like what we do, we generally take out that where these judgments have been followed. Now what this software does, it automatically whatever experts are there or whatever judgments are there, it extracts everything, and based on that it gives you a list of all the relevant case laws. So it becomes very handy and gives then personalized comments. Also, it highlights potential missing points of law and the alternative arguments. The second software and the research one is the Pensive. Now, this engine also works on judgment data and contract data, and more or less it has its own flagship product. Now, this is called Mitha to mitigate the delay in proceedings. Whatever, of course, because when we are doing research and all, so manual review of documents and all is concerned. So Mitha helps a lot in such cases, and of course you need not do the keywords, it goes beyond that, it picks up and it gives you the results whatever is selected by the users and the navigation. And this is being used by, again I have cited few firms which I found out, like law firms McKay Law, Argus Partners, they have been using these softwares apart from the corporate clients like Deloitte, Infosys and ICICI Lombard. They also have been using these search engine. Now, the next I would like to deal, this was basically as to what are the softwares which are involved in the legal profession. What is the future prospect of AI? So as we can see that because of the efficiency and the way it brings about and saves time, so there is lot of scope for expediting the legal proceedings. In India, as we all know, there is a huge pendency of the law of the cases here. So this can come very handy. Now, as far as IBM, in case of IBM, the AI ROS he has developed. This is the first artificially intelligent attorney which has been built on. It's produced. It's developed by IBM only on their cognitive computer, which is called Watson. Now, this, if we know the skills of this software, it's very interesting. It's actually designed, it can read, it can understand language, it can postulate hypothesis. So like as I've illustrated here, like if you ask a question in plain English, then it can answer also. And it can give you the entire law. If you ask any case lawyer, what is the judgment on this, it will give you the entire proposition on its own. So this can really be very handy besides, and of course the result is 100% accurate. There's no doubt as far as that is concerned. And this is being developed over a period. So the more you interact with this software, the more it gains experience, and based on that, it gives the results are there. It also, just like we are doing Pro Vakil and all, so it's a mixture of that where it also monitors the law, it constantly gives you notification. Once you feed the like case law, whatever you want, what is the case topic which you are interested in, so it will automatically send you notifications of those cases. So this is another software which is not yet used in Indian jurisdiction, though it is being used abroad by IBM. But we hope that something of this sort will also will come handy in India. So this software is yet to come. राजेश इसको काम नहीं कर रहा देखो देख लो इसको क्या now the next now what are the challenges of course in implementation. This is very important because as we all know the benefits are there. I think something happened. राजेश इसको पीछे करो. Come back now, back. इसको ठीक करना है. They were skip out before challenge and implementation. So as you know, AI of course with the smart top, it uses the machine and also it has to be very expensive. It requires heavy investment. So that is one of the major hurdles. Though in the long run we feel with the evolution of skills it will come handy and it can be affordable. The second challenge is adapting to the AI technology because of course because as we all know as lawyers if you are using the traditional set of tools and going by the conventional method, then suddenly if you have to switch over to something, so it requires to be trained in technology and to be adapting yourself to the new change. So these are some challenges which needs to be taken care of. And the third, which is very important hurdle, is the lack of any statutory regulation. Because as we all know, AI works on so many things. There's internet, of course, there's so much data involved which you are feeding in. So there has to be specific regulation so that the data or whatever privacy is there, that is not misused. As of now, though there are some regulations, but even globally also, there is a requirement and people like Google CEO has also voiced and raised the concern that unless we do something about the regulatory aspect, the use of AI can prove to be very detrimental. So this was in Financial Times where he has quoted that issues such as deepfakes, he has raised his concern that there is the possible negative impact of artificial intelligence. So it's high time that they has to be regulated to protect the privacy and the other issues which are there. Similarly, even Microsoft CEO also, Brad Smith, had raised this issue while speaking in the World Economic Forum, raising the concern. Now, that was the global position. Even in India now, what are the proposals which are there to regulate the AI in India? Now, India mein Niti Aayog has, of course, working on it, and there was a working document, it's a draft only, but where they have started uh, discussing and how to go about it, about enforcing the mechanism for AI. Now they have proposed, Niti Aayog has proposed a body. This is called CETs, Council for Ethics and Technology. Now this body, the purpose is, which will of course which will formulate appropriate regulations, what is required, and then accordingly regulations can be framed. So, but this is only at the inception stage where the deliberations are happening, and we have yet to see as to how the regulations are framed and how this whole technology and everything gets evolved. Because then the CET it will be also responsible for devising the model guidelines for the efficacy of AI system. Now, few areas Niti Aayog had, of course, highlighted few concern, which Yaman also was saying, impact on job. So there are few areas which have been highlighted on which we need to work on that. First is the consistency across stakeholders. Now this, what happens like generally when you are doing something, we have a different breed of people, caste, religion, everything. So in AI, of course, whatever software, whatever feedback you are feeding, that is again by human intervention. So there could be a situation where this gender bias or whatever discrimination, whether it's by religion or class, that can have an impact there. So considering that angle, so it was thought that there has to be some consistency as far as the stakeholders are concerned. Similarly, there is accountability of AI decision. Suppose some AI decision backfires or does not take place, then who will be accountable for that? So that is another area where they need to consider and to dwell upon it, how that has to be taken care of. Then the privacy risk, as I said, because nowadays in this era where everything is prone, so one needs to take care of the data and whatever is there which is fed in the system. Security risk, impact on job, this is another area. So awareness and capacity building. So these are few areas which again the Niti Aayog had highlighted that needs to be worked upon. Now, coming to the our Supreme Court, how the Indian judiciary has dealt with this AI. Now, I was surprised because actually I was not aware that so many things are happening. The Supreme Court has become, in a way, the front runner in application of AI and machine learning in the judicial system. And also, as we all know, because of the pandemic of COVID-19, we have been using the by virtual hearing, and this also involves the legal technology to increase the effectiveness of the legal practice. Now, these are just to quote couple of the speech by Sun CJI, Deepak Mishra, then by Justice Chandrachud, where they have spoken about the importance of AI as far as the judiciary is concerned. Like Deepak Mishra in one of the lectures have said that the AI has a high growth potential in a number of sectors, and of course, the main emphasis in all these the lectures was that it should be developed and something should be brought about. And Justice Chandrachud, just to quote, he had laid a lot of emphasis how this will help in the present legal our profession. And it can, I will just read this. The idea of artificial intelligence is not to supplant the human brain or the human mind or the presence of judges, but to provide a facilitative tool to judges to reassess the processes which they follow, to reassess the work which they do, and to ensure that the outcome are more predictable and consistent. Because one of the areas which we actually see AI, the accuracy of AI is 100% accurate, which can come handy, especially in case of judicial disposal by the judges in the Supreme Court. Now, these are a couple of few initiatives by the Supreme Court in the AI. First is SUPACE. Now, SUPACE is a portal, which is Supreme Court portal for the assistance in the court efficiency. In April 21, the Supreme Court has launched this AI portal to leverage the machine learning to aid the scrutiny of cases. And this has actually come very handy, and it is being used here. And this was again another quote by Justice Bobde regarding the bottlenecks which they are facing while managing the case data. So this I can just give. The second software which was developed by the Supreme Court or being used is the 2020 May. This is called SCI Interact. Now this software, by this software, it is made available to all the benches of the Supreme Court, and of course it helps the judges to access the files and the annexures and to make notes on the computer. So I think even the High Court, I don't know, but I think as per my information, as of now, this is in Supreme Court. So I yet have to come across how the High Court is using it. The third is the LIMS or Legal Information Management and Briefing System. Now, this the Department of Legal Affairs, Ministry of Law and Justice has introduced. This is a web-based application where this can monitor the cases from the High Court and tribunals, and then it is uploaded by the concerned commissionerate. This again, the idea is to track all the entire life cycle of a particular case efficiently and to upload it and then to just concise and bring it together at one platform. The fourth software is the SUVAS, which is Supreme Court Vidhik Anuvad software. Now, this is another interesting software which was launched by the Supreme Court. Now, by this software, this translates all the judicial orders and rulings from English to all the vernacular language in a very efficient and a faster manner. So, this again will come handy as far as the disposal of cases in the courts are concerned. Now, I am dealing with couple of these case laws where the AI, how the high courts, what are the views of the high courts in couple of cases. The first one is regarding the location of missing person. Now this was before the Karnataka High Court in the case of Shri C. Siva. So here what happened that there were 400 persons who were missing. And of course the Karnataka High Court had then during the hearing he discussed the use as to the use of AI based facial recognition software to help the Bangalore City Police identify and locate the missing persons because there was a 400 persons were missing. So the High Court took it very seriously and they started deliberating on how to use AI for this purpose. So I think this is again the High Court. The observations of High Court is after the taking note of the importance of AI and all. So in the second para, if you see, the High Court has said that the state should set up a committee which should aim at to develop again an artificial intelligence based expert system which can be used by all the investigating officers in the criminal field so that they can take help and again search for the missing person forward. So the second case which I found was regarding the child protection. Now this was another case where it was a suo motu petition in the Supreme Court regarding the rape videos of two girls, and there were videos which were being widely circulated on WhatsApp. So what happened? The Supreme Court to suo motu took cognizance of this and again deliberated on how to avoid such scenarios because the CBI was investigating into the incidents. So before the Supreme Court only there were certain media companies like Facebook, Google. Now they highlighted that we can use this AI to prevent, first of all, to prevent such circulation, rampant circulation of these videos, which of course is not expected in such cases also, and then how to use the AI. So I think this appealed with the Supreme Court, and then the Union of India also decided to set up a proactive committee and to use the AI for the auto deletion of all any which is unwanted contents which is being circulated without authorization. So this case also assumes significance as far as the AI is concerned. The third case, this was before the Delhi High Court. Now, this was again a trademark infringement case where the Tata Sky had instituted the suit for permanent injunction to this train. So, in this case, again, during the course of hearing, the High Court suggested that AI should be used to prevent such identical or deceptive similar domains name to be registered. Now, what I was in this case also, and there are other cases also, the court also goes on the fact that they are like as far as trademark infringement is concerned. Now, there are so many similar cases which come up. So the court basically was of the view that if we suitably employ AI in such cases, then such similar cases can be avoided because then that can come handy. So this was another thing which was observed by the Delhi High Court. Now, what are the regulations in India which is impacting, as I just said, because of the kind of nature and the data which is used in AI for the purpose. So those are actually one needs to taken care of. I remember while the Aadhaar card case was going on in the Supreme Court, at that time the bench was again at that point also I think it was Advocate Gonzalez only. He was advocating, and they were basically insisting that in Aadhaar also all the data of the public are involved. So what is the government doing to protect the data? So and he was actually it went on for so many days, but he produced so many reports and all to show that nothing is being done and whatever repository is there. So those are just like that, and the government is not doing anything. So anyway, my point was even in case of AI, similar situation is there where and these safeguards have to be taken care of, and something should be there which the government has to do in order to regulate. So SEBI in this case has issued a circular on the reporting requirements for AI application and system. Though we don't have much, and the second one is the Personal Data Protection Bill, which has provisions to regulate the data and propose to establish. But till date, how far this has been implemented, we have yet to see. Because though this is there, but I think still we have to go a long way ahead to just secure everything, and the concerns regarding AI are there. So with that, that's a conclusion. What I would just like to say, though AI has a huge benefit, as we know, and even in the legal profession, it will be very handy. But and also with the judges, I think now they are being more and more open and trying to adapt AI wherever possible. But as far as the risk, these aspects needs to be taken care of before this can be actually become handy for the legal profession. So that's all. Thank you.